Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Folding Towels podcast. It is so great to be here with you today. My name is Jackie, for those of you joining us for the first time, and today we're taking a deep dive into massage oils. And it is just me today. David is having a well-deserved day off. Now, before we get into the topic at hand, I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about me so you can understand why I love this topic so much, why I'm so passionate about it. So, after I completed my massage qualification many years ago, I started an aromatherapy diploma right afterwards. Unfortunately, there was a couple of reasons that I was unable to finish that qualification, but I have to tell you, I absolutely loved learning about all of the things, making soaps, making room sprays, and honestly, even the chemistry was amazing. If you know me, you know that chemistry, science, maths type stuff is really not my strong suit. So you know that that's a big thing for me to say. I am very curious. I love knowing the how and why of things, and it was totally up my alley to learn about all the different types of essential oils, what they do, what they can be used for. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, it is quite a few years later, and as I said, I was unable to complete that diploma. I was actually very close to the end, which is a touch disappointing, but maybe one day I can take the time to do that if I have more than 5 minutes to spare. We'll see. And so, doing the research for today's episode has actually reminded me of my love of essential oils and blends and making things and all this stuff. And honestly, I'm so excited to bring you this episode today. So, stick with me and let's talk about all things carrier oils. Okay, so what is a carrier oil? I hear everybody asking. Well, essentially, it carries something like an essential oil or an infusion such as arnica or comfrey to the skin. At its most basic, it's a vegetable oil or a seed or a nut oil. Now, something like olive oil or grapeseed oil, sweet almond, but there are hundreds of different kinds of oils. And it just means it's a very basic oil. And we use the term carrier because you can put other things in it and it carries those things like essential oils to the skin to work their magic. Now, when I trained at massage school, the oil that was very commonly used for massage almost everywhere was sweet almond oil, whether it was a plain or water dispersible. A lot of places only used water dispersible back then, as it was just so much easier to wash with. And that was back, I think in the early to mid 2010s, and really before coconut oil became as popular as it is now. I actually remember the day that I first massaged with coconut oil, which I think was either in early 2015 or late 2014. I was at a house massaging a few people, and one of them asked me as I was setting up, would I use the oil that they had? And I asked, oh, well, maybe, what is it? And so he showed me a large glass jar and explained that it was coconut oil and it was so great for the skin and it was amazing. And as he was doing this, he grabbed the jar, put some into a little small bowl, popped it into the microwave for 30 seconds, and then handed it to me. And he said, you can just scoop it out of the bowl and use it. And honestly, I was quite shocked and intrigued all at the same time. I'd never seen coconut oil used for massage before like this. It was only as we headed into the 2020s that coconut oil really became so popular in Australia, a huge thing, not only for cooking, but also for massage. So many people use it now, whereas, a solid decade ago, it wasn't as popular as what it is. It's very popular across the whole world, but not here in Australia the way that it is now. Probably, I reckon the most common oils used in Australia over the decades have been either sweet almond oil, which is a go-to, but there's also a water dispersible sunflower oil and rice bran oil blend that probably every massage therapist in Australia has used at one time or another. And I'm pretty sure I got massaged with some of that just last week. Yeah, they did. The therapist didn't know what it was because it was in a student clinic, but she said, "Oh, it's one of those big boxes from Melrose." That's that sunflower and rice bran water dispersible oil, I reckon. Now, if you're just doing massage and you don't do any facials or Ayurvedic massage, then the oil that you choose to massage with probably isn't, it's not an important decision. You can probably use any oil, whether it be grapeseed, coconut, sweet almond, and just leave it at that. There's no right or wrong decision here. And if that's what you want to do, then that is absolutely fine. If you are perhaps a beauty therapist and doing a lot of facials, however, or maybe you work with varying ages of skin, then oil choice might actually be important to you. I would suggest that if your clients are complaining about dry skin, or if you have older clients, and by older, I mean 40 plus, I'm not talking about elderly, I'm just talking about a little bit older, then oil choice should also be a consideration. Our skin does become quite dry as we age, and this is something you need to look after before it happens. It's a prevention, not a cure situation. One idea is actually to always have a second option on hand in case someone is allergic to what you are using. Now, allergies are very common. People can have all sorts of different allergies. It doesn't have to be an oil choice. You can have a lotion or a wax, something else. It doesn't matter what it is. You can have a tub of Premax on hand. There are lots and lots of options, but it is a really good idea to have something else just in case your client comes in and says, "Oh, hey, I'm super allergic to product XYZ. I can't actually use that." And that's the only thing you have. You don't want to be stuck in that situation because you have to turn your client away. Now, I just want to run through a couple of very common carrier oils and their uses and properties. And this is just a really great insight into how some oils can vary and can show you that some are much better for mature age skin, whereas some are better just for facials and different things like that. I will try and put some of this info in the show notes as well, so watch out for that. Sweet almond oil is the first one we're going to talk about. Now, this is rich in minerals and fatty acids. It does keep very well. It penetrates the skin very well. As I've mentioned before, it's super popular for massage, very slippery, lots of glide, and it is actually a good all-rounder. It's suitable for all skin types and ages. Apricot kernel oil is another really nice oil. It's very nourishing, easily absorbed into the skin. Excellent for all skin types, but it is especially good for mature dry skin and actually for babies as well. Some people do use apricot kernel oils for nappy, what do you call it, like a nappy balm, nappy rash, that sort of stuff. It's excellent for blends, excellent for facials, and often used in body products. Jojoba oil. Now, this one is a little tricky because it's actually a wax. It's not technically an oil. It does keep for many years as it naturally resists oxidation, and it is very, very similar to the body's natural skin oils. This is a really lovely oil to use. It is a touch on the expensive side. It's excellent for massage, softens the skin and the hair. It's great for blends, and I would recommend it for blends because it can be a touch expensive, but you can also use it for facials. This is fantastic for facials, very moisturizing and healing, and it's excellent for body and bath products as well. Sunflower oil. A lot of people think that this is really a basic oil, that it's not very good, but it's actually high in some vitamins and minerals. It is very regenerating and moisturizing. It is commonly used in cooking, and it was very popular for cooking back in the day. It's a great one to put into a blend because it is cheap. So it means that if you're using something that's a bit more expensive, like jojoba or rosehip oil, you can soften the price point by using a slightly cheaper oil. You don't have to do that, but depends on what you're doing. Safflower oil is also very moisturizing. It's a great one to blend with other carrier oils for massage, a little bit on the cheaper side, and also good for bath and body products. Olive oil. Now, this is a really common one for cooking, so everyone would know Olive oil, it's very high in essential fatty acids. It's often used in soaps and cosmetics. It should probably be blended with other carrier oils for massage. As it is a thicker oil, it can stain towels and linens. Sometimes, if you're not washing very well, this is one that I recommend to blend because it does have that high viscosity. It's like a greeny yellow color. If you've ever cooked with olive oil, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's also very suitable for mature skin and also for babies. It is a nice oil, but I would put this one in a blend. Rosehip oil is a fantastic oil. This has over 30% vitamin F and over 45% linoleic acid. So it's very high in fatty acids, high in beta carotene, which is all fantastic for the skin. This is one of the best oils out there for skincare. This is one of the best oils out there for skincare. This is just so good in products as well as for massage. It actually treats things like sun damage, burns, acne, scarring, and wound healing. If you're doing facials, this is a fantastic one to have in your blend or just to use on its own. Love, love, love rosehip oil. Evening primrose oil is also rich in fatty acids that support the body. It's really nice for massage and it is regenerative for the skin. Can't get my words out. It's a really, really good one for the skin. Wheat germ oil is very high in vitamin E and essential fatty acids. However, this one is not actually very stable and needs to be kept in the fridge. It is great for the skin, great for dermatitis and circulation. It can treat scarring and dry skin, burns, and eczema. It is actually a good one in this regard. You just have to keep it in the fridge and make sure it hasn't gone rancid fairly often. Hemp oil is also very high in essential fatty acids. It has a bit of a similar look and consistency to olive oil, so I do sort of recommend that this one goes into a bit of a blend rather than using it on its own. However, this one has become very popular for massage now. It's very easy to get. I think 10 years ago, probably we didn't even have hemp oil in Australia. It certainly wasn't as popular as what it is now. But it is a nice oil to use if you're doing long flowing strokes. I actually like hemp oil quite a lot. Pumpkin seed oil, also high in antioxidants and some vitamins. I've not used this one, so I'm not 100% sure about what it's like, but I reckon this would be nice in a bit of a blend. Sesame seed oil, also high in minerals, used mainly for cooking and in skincare. I'm not sure how you'd go massaging with this. I'd probably recommend a blend. If anyone I know is using sesame seed oil or even pumpkin seed oil, sing out. I would love to know what you think of it. Avocado oil. This one is rich in vitamins, in minerals. Obviously, a lot of people love avocados. It's such a great one. This is soothing, moisturizing, softening, and protective. This is excellent skin penetration, this oil. Avocado oil is also ideal for dry and mature skin, also great for nappy rash. This is excellent for sun damaged skin, aging skin, and also undernourished skin. Great for massage and for body products and balms. You do see this one about the place a little bit more, and I think this one would be great with some rosehip oil, some of those really beautiful oils for a really decadent massage. Macadamia oil is very soothing, lubricating, anti-aging, and moisturizing. This one is very similar to the skin's natural oils again, so great for the mature and the dry skin. Wonderful for massage and body product. Hazelnut oil is very light. It penetrates the skin well, high in vitamin E and oleic acid. This one as well is great for dry and sensitive or problem skin. Very soothing, pretty good for massage and body and bath products again. Grapeseed oil, sometimes used in cooking, fairly light oil, great for sensitive skin, high in vitamin E, penetrates skin quickly. This one is actually ideal for a lot of skin types. It's very moisturizing Excellent for bath and body products, excellent for dry skin and acne. I haven't personally used grapeseed oil. I'm pretty sure I've had massages with grapeseed oil in it, and I do like it from that perspective. Yeah, another perfect one to put in a blend as well. So coconut oil, we meet again. Coconut oil is used a lot in cooking and actually in cosmetics. It comes in two different forms. So you've got the fractionated and the solid forms. It has a really low melt point. So if you're buying the solid form just from the supermarket, you can actually scoop some out, pop it into your hand, and it will melt just in your hand. So it's actually really convenient and really good for massage. It's used a lot in soap making and shampoos and conditioners a lot. It's actually really nice for hair care. And you can literally just grab some coconut oil, put it in your hair, leave it in for a few hours after you've washed it, and use that as a bit of a conditioner. You can pop it straight onto your skin. It's such a great product generally for that sort of thing. One thing that I do definitely want to say about coconut oil is it is not good for sunburn. Coconut oil is occluding and it will make your sunburn worse. So please do not put it on your body if you have sunburn. You need something like rosehip oil for that. So you can get so many different kinds of carrier oils. I haven't even begun to list the whole lot. There's hundreds. There's things like camellia oil, which is a flower, watermelon seed oil, which is similar to argan oil, which you've probably seen in hair care products, tamanu oil, which is a seed oil from a tree nut, which is becoming quite popular. There's literally thousands. Some of them I wouldn't necessarily use for massage, and others I would consider creating a blend or purchasing in a blend. And oils are actually quite easy to get hold of these days, which is the very next thing that I'm going to talk to you about. Where can you buy all of these oils from? So, as I've mentioned, you can get a lot of oils just in the supermarket. And honestly, if you're not sure about what to use, what you like, this is a really good place to start because you can still use them for cooking if they're available in the supermarket, and you can have a look and see what the consistency is like. You can just play around with them in your own house and just sort of feel them. It depends on what kind of massage you do as to what oil you might actually want. And as I said before, you might not even want to use an oil. You might like to use a balm or something instead. That's totally up to you. But supermarkets can be a really good place to start. So, one of the main suppliers in Australia for oils, they provide, I should say, a ton of oils to supermarkets and other businesses, is Melrose. Now, you've probably all heard of Melrose. You can purchase from them online, and as I said, from the supermarket. They do have a big wholesale sale in either February or March every year. I think it's March, but double check at the beginning of the year, guys. And honestly, they stock so much, and they stock a lot of it in bulk as well. So if you actually need 10 liters at a time, this is the perfect company to shop from. Now, I've got a list of other companies as well, and I will put all of the details up in the show notes too. So have a look out for that. Now, I just want to say, I didn't realize this when I was actually started creating this list, but all of these companies are Australian owned. They're Aussie businesses. Some of them are very small businesses, or have started very small and then gradually grown up in Australia. So please do check out their websites and have a look if you are interested in buying some wonderful blends, or maybe you want to try the tamanu oil or the 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 camellia oil or something that I've mentioned earlier. Honestly, give them a try and let me know what they're like. It would be so interesting to hear. So some of these companies are based in New South Wales, some in Victoria. We've got one in Queensland, but they all have online websites. And as I said, everything will be in the show notes, so please do check it out. The first one is Sydney Essential Oil Company, SEOC, as they're commonly affectionately known as. They're a great company here in here in Australia. And I'll be honest with you, I have been buying stuff from them for about 10 years. They're a great company. They have a wonderful relationship with their suppliers. And I forgot to say, all of these companies actually they stock carrier oils, but they also stock essential oils and a lot of raw products as well. So things like shea butter for making, whether you're making a blend or making, candles or soaps or room sprays, all of that sort of stuff. So please do shop around and check and see what's available. As much as you want to buy everything, there is a lot of variety here. So we've already mentioned Seoc. We've also got New Directions, which is in New South Wales. N Essentials from Victoria, and I'll just tell you that one is N-Essentials. Earthyard, which is based in the Blue Mountains. Australian Wholesale Oils from Sydney, and Essentials of Australia. And Essentials as in scent, Escentials, and they're in Queensland. So yeah, some wonderful businesses there to check out. And I'm just going to do a little shout out as well while I'm here to Salvatore Battaglia and Perfect Potion, which is an aromatherapy shop across Australia and Japan. If you are interested in aromatherapy and purchasing essential oils, a trip to Perfect Potion is divine. I absolutely love this store. Everything about it is amazing and beautiful. So, hello, everyone at Perfect Potion, or everyone that also loves this store. It's so gorgeous. Now, as I mentioned, some of these suppliers will be a little bit better than others depending on what you actually want. So, please have a little bit of a shop around, particularly if you are looking for a pre made blend. Definitely have a look online, check out what they've got. And, they are probably more than happy to answer questions. You can always send them a message and check out what is going on direct from the supplier as well. So let's talk about decanting. Who knows what decanting is? Yes, it is tipping something from one container to another. Very technical. With oils, you may very much want to decant your purchases into a different container. And most of you would go, oh, yes, we got told in massage school to use a pump bottle if we can. So if you're buying a 10-litre container, tip your oil into a pump bottle because honestly, you do not have the time nor capacity to lug 10 litres of oil around the place. You need a couple of pump bottles or some smaller containers. You can get the 1-litre containers from various places. And you know what? If you're using coconut oil is a really great one to just tip into a small bowl, and you can just use one bowl per client as well, depending on what you do, what your situation is like. We don't want you lugging around huge containers of oil everywhere. We want you to preserve your health and safety, but this is also about preventing cross-contamination from one client to the other. So please don't forget to wipe down your bottles regularly with antibacterial wipes. And you can purchase some pump bottles and smaller bottles and containers from some of the shops that I mentioned earlier, like New Directions and N Essentials and other wholesalers. They're fairly easily available. Okay, so now I mentioned infused oils before, and I can hear a few of you saying, "Oh, what's an infused oil, Jackie?" So it's basically an oil that has had calendula flowers or arnica or St. John's wort, comfrey, things like that, put into the oil. And usually they're either left to sit or they can be heated up, that sort of thing. And then so the properties of the calendula or the comfrey are infused into the oil. The actual product, like the calendula flower, is taken out, and then you're just using the oil, and it's got some of those properties in it. Now, the thing to remember with using anything that's not just a straight carrier oil is that a lot of the time this is out of our scope of practice if we are massage therapists. And this is also a not a one-size-fits-all. Every single person is different. And if you are using stuff like this, you either need to be trained in it by doing something like an aromatherapy qualification, or you need to have an alternative qualification, whether that be in like health science, nutrition, naturopathy, that sort of stuff. This is really important, guys, because you can actually hurt your clients by using essential oils and infusions inappropriately. They're not in our scope. Please do some training. The training is usually a lot of fun. It's very interesting. Please do the training. Okay, sorry. Take my mum nag voice away. I also want to say to you guys as well, and this is a really obvious thing, but oil and water do not mix. I don't know how many times I have to actually tell people that oil and water do not mix. It doesn't matter what type of oil you're talking about, whether it's cooking oils, carrier oils, essential oils, they don't mix with water. And so when we're talking about washing, we absolutely need to be washing our towels with a really good detergent, because the detergent interacts with both the oil and the water and has different polarity at each end of the chemical to draw the oils out of the fabric. And it's just so important to get your towels, get your linens and clothing clean, everything clean at the point of washing. And you know, I'm sure you've seen it when detergent companies talk about, you know, they've got those visuals of the detergent compound scooping in between the fabric fibers with the water to draw out the dirt and grime. That is actually literally what happens with the detergent. They're not lying. That's actually what happens. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, who knew that laundry could be so exciting? I don't know. Before we go, I'm just going to let you know how coconut oil becomes fractionated, which is permanently a liquid. So how do they turn that solid virgin coconut oil permanently into a liquid? Because it's quite interesting. And I had to Google this because I really wasn't sure how it actually happened. So what they do is they heat the coconut oil above its melting point very slowly. It's usually a fairly long process, and the long chain fatty acids and the lauric acid are then removed from the rest of the mixture, because these two elements have a higher melting point than the medium chain fatty acids. They turn from a liquid to a solid at a quicker rate. So the solid fraction of the oil can be removed and the liquid remains. It's very, very interesting. And honestly, I knew they took something out, but I didn't understand the process. So that was very interesting reading about that. Right. So that's all about oils, carrier oils. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode as much as I have. It was actually really fun to talk about some really basic aromatherapy again for a while. We did touch on this. This is all covered in an aromatherapy qualification. So we did do some really basic chemistry, very basic aromatherapy. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to chat again next time. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.